Kelly Ripa is known for her upbeat personality, quick wit, and ability to turn even the most ordinary moments into entertaining television. But this time, the longtime talk show host had a surprisingly uncomfortable story to share, and involve a habit she probably once considered a very good one. During a recent discussion, Kelly revealed that a habit she had developed with the best intentions ultimately contributed to a painful dental procedure. What makes the story especially relatable is that it wasn't about neglecting her teeth. In fact, it was almost the opposite. Kelly had been taking her dental care seriously. But as she discovered, even something that seems healthy can become a problem when taken too far. And her candid admission has left fans talking about the unexpected downside of one of those everyday habits many people might never question. For Kelly Ripa, sharing personal stories has become part of what makes her such a familiar figure to television audiences. Whether she's talking about her marriage to Mark Consuelos, her children, aging, beauty routines, or the realities of everyday life, Kelly often brings humor to subjects that other celebrities might prefer to keep private. That openness was once again on display when she discussed her dental experience. The story reportedly centered around her commitment to brushing her teeth. On the surface, that sounds like exactly the kind of habit dentists would encourage. After all, brushing is one of the most basic parts of maintaining good oral hygiene. But Kelly discovered that there can be a point where a good habit becomes excessive. Her story is a reminder that dental health isn't necessarily about doing something as much as possible. It is also about doing it correctly and finding the right balance. And that distinction became very real for Kelly when her routine eventually contributed to a painful problem. The actress and television personality has never been shy about discussing her routines. Her disciplined approach to health and fitness has frequently been part of her public image, and fans know that she takes her daily habits seriously. That makes the dental revelation even more interesting. Kelly wasn't describing herself as someone who ignored her oral health. Instead, she was explaining how something she thought she was doing right may have contributed to an uncomfortable procedure. That is what made the admission so surprising. For years, people have been told that brushing their teeth regularly is essential. But brushing harder, or more frequently, isn't automatically better. The technique matters. The pressure matters. And as Kelly's experience illustrates, there can be consequences when enthusiasm gets in the way of moderation. The procedure itself was described as painful, which naturally caught people's attention. Dental procedures are hardly the kind of subject most people associate with celebrity glamour. But Kelly's willingness to talk about the uncomfortable experience made the story feel remarkably ordinary. It wasn't a red carpet moment. It wasn't a television scandal. It was a very human story about something that can happen to anyone. And that may be one reason audiences connected with it. Kelly has built much of her appeal around being relatable despite her celebrity status. She may spend her days in front of cameras, but she often talks about the same everyday problems that affect millions of viewers. Dental appointments are certainly one of them. What makes the story particularly interesting is the idea that Kelly's problem came from what she believed was a positive habit. Many people assume that if something is good for you, more of it must be even better. Exercise is a good example. Eating nutritious foods is good. Taking care of your teeth is good. But almost anything can become counterproductive when it's done excessively or incorrectly. Kelly's dental experience offered a humorous but useful reminder of that principle. The exact details surrounding the procedure also helped fuel interest because fans naturally wanted to understand what had gone wrong. Was Kelly brushing too aggressively? Was she brushing too often? Or was another part of her routine contributing to the problem? Rather than presenting herself as someone who had made a terrible mistake, Kelly approached the experience with humor. That is very much in keeping with her personality. Instead of turning the situation into a dramatic confession, she used it as another opportunity to laugh at one of the unexpected realities of everyday life. And that may be one of the reasons she remains such a popular television personality. Kelly has spent decades in the public eye, but she continues to share moments that make viewers feel as though they are listening to a friend tell a funny story. Her openness also comes at an interesting point in her career. After years as one of television's most recognizable hosts, Kelly continues to balance her professional life with her family life and her long-running relationship with Mark Consuelos. The couple has been married since 1996 and has 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin. Their marriage has frequently been discussed publicly, often with Kelly and Mark joking about their relationship. That playful attitude extends to many other aspects of Kelly's life. She has never been afraid to poke fun at herself, and her dental story fits perfectly into that style. Rather than pretending everything is always perfect, she acknowledged that even someone who appears extremely disciplined can occasionally discover that one of their habits needs adjusting. For fans, that can be reassuring. Celebrities often appear to have carefully controlled lifestyles. Perfect hair, perfect smiles, perfect fitness routines, perfect health habits. But stories like Kelly's reveal that real life is much messier. Even people who take excellent care of themselves can end up needing medical or dental treatment. And sometimes the reason is surprisingly ironic. In Kelly's case, the irony was that the habit she considered good became part of the reason she needed a painful procedure. That doesn't mean people should stop brushing their teeth. Far from it. The broader lesson is about moderation and proper technique. Dental professionals generally recommend brushing twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and using gentle pressure rather than aggressively scrubbing the teeth. Excessive force can contribute to irritation and damage to the gums and tooth surfaces. That is why Kelly's story resonated beyond celebrity news. It turned into a small reminder about everyday health. And because Kelly shared it in such a humorous way, the subject became much easier to discuss. Fans also reacted to the fact that Kelly was willing to admit that her own routine may have contributed to the problem. For someone who has spent so much of her life on television, that kind of honesty can be surprisingly refreshing. She wasn't presenting herself as an expert. She wasn't telling viewers that she had discovered a secret miracle solution. She was simply sharing what happened to her. That distinction is important. Personal experiences aren't necessarily universal medical advice. What caused discomfort for one person may not be the same for another. And anyone experiencing dental pain should speak with a qualified dental professional rather than trying to diagnose the problem based on a celebrity story. Still, Kelly's experience raises an interesting question about how people approach self-care. We live in an era where wellness routines have become increasingly elaborate. People track workouts, steps, sleep, hydration, nutrition, and skincare. There is constant pressure to optimize every aspect of life. But sometimes the healthiest approach is simply to follow basic guidance consistently rather than assuming that doing more will produce better results. Kelly's story fits into that broader conversation. Her habit was good. Her intentions were good. But the way she was doing it apparently created a problem. And that's an important distinction. It also shows why routine health care matters. Regular dental checkups can help identify problems before they become more serious. Small issues can often be addressed before they develop into painful procedures. And professional guidance can help people understand whether their daily habits are actually helping. For Kelly, the painful experience may ultimately have been a useful lesson. It is also the kind of story that could become part of her ongoing relationship with fans. Kelly's appeal has never depended solely on glamorous celebrity moments. Some of her most memorable conversations are the ones where she reveals something funny, awkward, or unexpectedly personal. Those moments make her seem accessible. And that accessibility has helped keep her relevant through different eras of television. As for what happens next, fans can expect Kelly to continue sharing plenty of personal stories. Her marriage to Mark Consuelos remains a frequent source of humor. Her children are entering their own stages of adulthood. And her career continues to evolve as she takes on new projects and appearances. The dental story may be relatively small compared with some of the bigger celebrity headlines surrounding Kelly, but it is exactly the kind of anecdote